Hi, and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, shall we discuss what do you need in order to start a business? First things first, I guess I have to answer why I am in an empty, again, office. For that, you'll have to roll back to one of the previous videos where I've said this.
I do have a plan on how to accommodate all of the equipment under one roof, although it might take up to half a year for us to implement that.
Now, that will be discussed in its own separate video. As far as this topic goes for this video, we'll be looking at what it is specifically on my personal example. What do you need to start a business? As you know, there are quite a few tutorials, if you will, and quite a lot of people who suggest their way of starting the business, and obviously not all of them are exactly right. For example, just recently, yesterday I do believe it was, that I've discovered a video I stumbled upon where a person says that you absolutely must, and it is a requirement in order to start a business, you have to register it as either a limited company or be it self-employed for some cases. Now let's draw a complete founding division between the two types of businesses, regardless of what they are in the essence. But we will be looking at two types of starting a business, two types of businesses to be started. One is obviously the one that you're funding yourself. That is, you're not getting any VCs and you're not getting any outsource funding, the angel investors and things of that nature, where you're building a huge corporation or a huge manufacturing of international scale and so on and so forth, where you'll have a board of directors and so on. That is a completely different thing to discuss, and obviously is not the topic of this video, as you obviously clicked on the video to watch it to find out how do you start a business. That meaning you are nowhere near, no offense, but you are nowhere near the level that is required to run such a company. Now that we know that the business that we'll be starting will be self-funded, here is where quite a few people say do not go for the money and obviously get your company registered, register yourself as self-employed and so on and so forth. Now that, in my opinion, and I'm no financial advisor or a legal specialist, but do your due diligence and consult a specialist in this area before you actually do something. But in the UK, as it currently stands, and it has been for a while, and it is 2022 currently, you are not required to register as self-employed or to register a company, be it a limited company or any other, if your turnover, that's not your profit, that's turnover, so all of your sales combined without any taxes, without your taking out any resources and so on, basically all your turnover is below £1,000, you do not have to register with HMRC. And I'll repeat this, I am not a financial advisor, I'm not a legal specialist. Consult the appropriate people before you do anything. But that being said, you still have to keep the records. Now in Ireland, for example, there is no such thing, and if your turnover is below 5,000 euros a year, then you just fill out one form. If it's over 5,000 a year of your additional income, you fill in a different form and so on. But again, consult the relevant people. We are here to figure out how to start a business, and obviously what exactly do you need in order to do just that. Over the course of videos that I've presented on this channel, you will obviously see that we've worked from home for some time, and then we moved into this precise office. Now we aren't in this office obviously, but is this a requirement that you have to have in order to start your own business, be it your landscaping business, that you have to have an office, or you start candle company or something. That seems to be quite popular nowadays. Do you need the office? Do you need the warehouse? Do you need anything like that? And obviously you've heard that Google, Microsoft and whomever you name and the big names, they've all started from a garage, so they were started at home. So therefore, no, you absolutely do not need anything like that. Obviously, you'll be looking at different people and you will see that you wouldn't know, but they are in business for 10 or 15 years. They're driving fancy cars or things of that nature, having warehouses of 10,000 square feet and so on. And you'll be like, oh, how do I get there? You get there by starting, but you're looking at the present and not looking in the past for them. So for you, everything else is still in the future, and everything you have to do still has to be done. And therefore, as per my example, I'm not redoing the current business we have, but I'm opening an additional stream of income for myself. And therefore, I'm telling you that all you need in order to start a business in the UK, well, I mean anywhere in the world realistically, is you need a problem. No, but seriously, all you need to start a business is a problem. Let me elaborate. People have not just fences, some of them have bushes growing in instead of the wall, so that needs trimming. That's a problem for an elderly lady, for example, who not just lacks the tools to perform this task, she also might not be capable of operating such machinery if we are speaking of petrol-powered equipment. Therefore, that is a problem. And in order to solve that, there needs to be a solution. Therefore, a landscaper comes in. Now, in my case, unless this wasn't obvious for the viewers, although I am in the UK and I've been fairly long time in the UK already, I'm obviously not a native British person. Therefore, I have some experience that led me to the present day, and mainly that is with British food. There is a lack of one type of food that is absolutely fantastic, and I really enjoy that, and that is smoked meat, smoked fish, poultry, if you will. Now, you might be aware that there is a smoked bacon, for example. You'll be surprised when I'll tell you, most probably, that it is nowhere near actually smoked, and nowhere near does the taste equals what an actual smoked bacon would taste like. You can have my word on that. But obviously there are shops. You've probably heard of Polish shops, or you've even been to one, or Baltic shops, or Lithuanian shops, or whatever, you name them. They're all around. But even the products that are sold within these type of shops, they're still commercial products. And yes, they can be technically smoked. In most cases, the finished product, due to it being commercial and so on, it is not really smoked in traditional manner, and it will never compare, unless it was actually done in small scale by somebody locally and so on. It will never compare to what actual smoked product tastes like. And here, where my problem comes in, I have no access to smoked goods of the standard that I would like them to be, and there is no one in my local area that I know immediately to go to who does the proper smoking of the products that I've named, and I can acquire them for myself, my consumption. Now you see that there is a problem that I wanted to solve for myself. I did go with the smaller, lighter production type of equipment, if you can call it this way, which allowed me to have some sort of more or less reliable, realistically not, product. And therefore, I finally given up, and I've invested this much money into a more or less commercial, industrialized equipment that will allow me to have at least some sort of consistency. Now, that is not the only thing that's going on in here as in general. Obviously, I won't be doing a separate warehouse for this exact manufacturing, but what it all goes into is that, one, I'm covering my own needs for that product. Two, I am not the only one who is within my local area who would be interested in such goods. If I'm having problems of having these goods, in acquiring, these goods, then obviously there should be more people around me who are stumbling within the same problem. All I'm left to do with is when I'm cooking this product, when I'm preparing this product for myself, all I have to do is account for the extra capacity that I've got and include extra products. And when it comes to the finished product, when everything's done, everything is ready, all I have to do is go on, let's say, Facebook Marketplace, and I'll post an ad that I'm selling such and such item and it is a limited availability, and therefore if there is interest in these type of products, I'll be regardless of whether there is a demand for such a product, every single week, and I'll be preparing a batch of products for myself. And in case there is a demand, obviously I can always scale it up or prepare something else instead in order to offer a different type of product. So this is how you start a business. You don't, in most cases, you don't need much to actually start. Yes, you'll need a starting capital, but as you can see, this was my starting capital. This is was my investment into this particular business, and I'm not in it. As people say, you don't go into business to make money. This is case in point, my own example, where I'm technically opening a business, but it is not for profit. Initially not, obviously. If this picks up, then there are additional steps to be taken in order to develop this. But this is not starting a business. Starting a business is as simple as that. And the rest you figure out as you go. If you need to register for a limited company, then you do that. If it's a meat processing and there is additional requirements for the facilities that provide the meats in order to supply them for, let's say, the market or the actual shops, then obviously you figure out what certificates or licenses and so on you need in order to supply the general public with such product. But until then, it's just starting a business. You don't need much. And obviously, the first things first, I'm supplying myself with a quality product that I'm unable to gather otherwise. Anything else is plain extra for me to use and for obviously my family to enjoy, and gatherings and friends and so on. Therefore, my needs are solved first, and everything that's left over is what is up for grabs for the general public. And obviously that picking up I can just do. I don't necessarily need to invest more money as well, as you can imagine, because obviously I did say I'll be cooking once per week regardless. But the next step for me would be, because it's currently still in the progress, I'm figuring out the equipment and the timings and the temperatures and everything. The next step would be just use 2 days in a week in order to prepare the food. Therefore, there is no immediate need to invest in more machinery. First things would be to obviously maximize the efficiency of the manufacturing. Technically, it is a manufacturing at this stage and point, but now you know how do you start a business on a quite specific example, and all you need, besides obviously the starting capital, all you need is a problem. And as soon as you figure out a solution for that problem, Bob's your uncle. You've got yourself a business. And if the bigger problem you solve, the more reliable your business will become. And obviously, do I quit this business, the printing business that we have going on, in order to pursue the meat smoker's career? Obviously not. This is the same for you. You keep your main job. You started as a hobby. you do knitting, you do gardening in the weekends, and so on and so forth. You keep your main job and you observe what is happening with your business, because obviously at first you'll be starting it as a just hobby in order to solve a problem. And as I've already said, the bigger problem you solve, the better the solution that you provide for that problem, because obviously there are occasions where you solve the problem but the solution is not accepted by the people. It might work for you, but it might not work for general public. For example, if in my case I like very salty meats, right? So therefore, if I do all of the batches very salty, quite saturated, then obviously people come around, they enjoy smoked food, but everything that I'm preparing is very salty and nobody likes that. So I've solved my problem, but it doesn't solve their problem, because they, while they're enjoying smoked products, they cannot enjoy it fully with the high amounts of salt. That would be where I have to pivot and do maybe 2 batches. But obviously that's besides the topic of how do you start a business in the UK. It's as simple as that. You have a problem, you figure out a solution, you gather enough starting capital, and you see it from there. Obviously not all material that I'm releasing is going to be technical, and it never was intended to be technical on this channel. And I'm just looking at the numbers of the videos that are gathering the most views, and obviously there are the technical guides more or less, or the again, same thing applies. The videos that I'm posting that are gathering the most amount of views are videos where I'm solving a problem. Either I'm displaying my problem or I'm solving the problem. Therefore, you can already see the demand and supply for that, but obviously that was never my intent. It is just something that goes along with having a business, and there will be more technical videos obviously, and there will be more talkative, informative videos as is this one, for example. And hopefully you've enjoyed both type of content. So obviously if that's not up to your liking, you're more than welcome to skip to the next one or the previous one, whatever tickles your pickle. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode.